Okay, we're going to make a Sawtooth Star. It uses the flying geese unit, like what we made in the Dutchman puzzle. And I'm going to show you how to work with directional fabrics if you want to plan it and have it all come out exactly right. So you would cut a 6.5-inch strip, and then I cut that into 3.5-inch segments. That's what I did here, and that has my stripe running horizontally. But I need one for the sides that's going to be running, or a section that's going to be running the opposite for either the sides or the top or the bottom, wherever I'm going to be putting this. But I need one running the other direction. So what I did was I cut a 3.5-inch strip, and I'm going to cut that into 6.5-inch segments. So that's going to have my units then running, the pattern running in different directions. I'm using a blue for the squares and for what's going to be the star points and the center of the star. It's also directional. So you would mark, the way I kind of figure out how I'm going to do that is I have to lay out the block with the sections here. I lay it all out, and I have this, and I flip it over on the back. And remember, on flying geese, you draw your line so whenever it's stitched, it's going to be like that. So I'm going to be watching it to see. In this piece, like in this direction, that's going to be the bottom of the star. Another piece would be like the top when it's flipped up the other way. But I'm going to make sure I get all my pieces here going in the same direction if I can. But if it's not going the right way, you just turn the block, check it again. Well, that would have the crowns then like that. So then I know that's the way I need to sew that one. So I would go ahead and mark that and put that on there and then sew that right then. I work with each half that way, laid out to where I can get it all the way I want. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all marked up, laid out, and I'll show you how I've got it laid before I start actually sewing everything on it. Okay, I got it laid out and figured out the direction for everything, and I've marked my lines. I marked it in red with the friction pin, and I don't know if you'll be able to see. You can kind of see that one. So what it actually wound up was that 2 are running to the right when you're looking at it from the back, and 2 are running to the left. Anyway, so that way, and when I put the other one on, it's probably going to be doing the exact same thing. But we'll stitch this up, and I'll trim it, and we'll look at what the other half looks like for the other half of the flying geese. These are flying geese units, but they're actually made, we're using the background is the goose, and the sky fabric is the other, is the contrasting fabric. That's going to be the star points. And they're kind of set in reverse from what you were doing on the flying geese, because you're having to look at it in reverse. But anyway, we'll get this made and show you what it looks like and work on the second portion. Okay, I have them all marked with the red line on it, and it's actually going the opposite. So like if you were to flip this one here right now, I've got the crown is going to the left, but the one that was on there had it going to the right. So it's going to be opposite of what you've already sewn. The one here and the one at the top are going to be going the same direction, as well as the one over on the side and the opposing side. They're all going in the same direction, which is that way. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all stitched up, and then we'll lay out the final layout of it and show you how to put the block together. Okay, I've got it all laid out, and when you go to put on your corners, just watch that you have it in the same direction. Everything's going in the same direction. Now you could use any block that has like a big center. You can either fussy cut to put something else in the center, or in this case you could put another 6-inch block in the center. So you could do like a 4 patch, 9 patch, you know, whatever else you wanted to do in the center. There's a couple of different blocks that you can do that on. So anytime there's a big center, you can fussy cut or put another smaller block in the center. When you go to sew this, I'm going to sew it in rows. So I'm going to flip this over here and sew that, sew that, and sew that. Then after all of that stitched, and you're going to be pressing to the solid pieces. So you'll press to the corner here, you'll press to the background there, and down here on the bottom you'll press to the background. You're going to be pressing to the pieces that does not have any seams in it. After that's done, then you'll do the last ones, and then you'll fold it down and stitch that, and fold that section up and stitch that one. And you can take your seams to the top and the bottom, because there'll be less. You're only going to have that right there mainly to not want to go take the seam. But if you just press it good, that'll do it. Okay, the block is all finished, and I've got everything going in the right direction. When you go to put it together, just remember you need to match your seams at all the intersections here, and also you're going to watch for the X's at all the points. So try to stitch with those up so you can see them and get all the X's. But that's the finished block.